Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Papercrafts here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in central Scotland. Welcome back to another Simple Sundays project, and today I'm going to show you how I made, well, certainly this treat pouch, commonly known as sour cream treat pouches. It's not a new thing, they've been around for a while, so it's certainly not my original idea, but as you can see, you can decide whether you want a big one or a little one. You can change the size to suit yourself. So because it's training week at our sailing club this week and I'm going to be helping as the onshore house mother and first aider, I'm making some treat pouches just in case I have to see to any little ones, just to distract them a little bit, because we do teach from the age of 7 years old. So some of them are really quite small, and if they get a bit of a fright in the water, then something like this is just perfect. So the plan is to pop some pirate goodies in here. Last year, for example, I used some pirate colouring books and coloured pencils, and I think this year I'll use some pirate notebooks and pirate pencils or something like that, but something that is good for distracting. And of course you can't learn to sail a boat without also learning how to be a pirate, so it's just perfect. So I used the Come Sail Away designer series paper. I'm sure that's what it's called. Let me just double check. I'm sure it is, yep. And this one was made using a piece that's 6 by 6 inches, and this was made using a piece that's 4 by 4 inches. So I'm now going to show you how to make one that's made with an 8 by 8 piece of paper. So I'm going to pop these over to the side a minute, and I'm going to bring in the sheet of paper that I'm using, which, as I said, is 8 inches by 8 inches. All you need is your piece of paper, some tape along the side that you're going to stick together. I'm just checking, because it's a directional paper, I want to make sure that I keep it that way up, and some tape along the bottom as well. And instead of my tearing tape, because I do have a new roll now, I was running out in the last video, I'm going to use my red line tape because it's super sticky, and because it's hot I want to make sure that it does stay stuck. Tearing tape is very good, but I know that this is really super sticky, although it is a bit of a monkey to get the backing off, because it's been so hot here. So it helps if you don't cut a little bit of your paper off at the same time. Just get rid of that, it's better. It's so sticky, it's sticking to me because it's been so warm. So bit along here as well. I'll try my smaller scissors and see if they're more successful. There we are. Could have been a bit straighter, but never mind. And then all you're really going to do is take the backing off and roll your pouch together here and stick it together at the bottom, and then I'm going to punch some holes in the top and add some baker's twine to tie it together. So joining the sides together first. Like I said, it's super sticky, so it's going to be fun when I come to the backing that's on the bit on the bottom, because it's not going to want to stick together. And just without actually sticking it down, I'm just going to eyeball the width of my tape here to help me join this seam. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's usually fairly easy to line up. Once you get the top stuck down, you can line up the bottom edge as well, and it's actually big enough at this size to pop my hand in and just give that a press down. And then I'm going to come back and find where the join is, because I know that's where the edge of my tape on the other bit is, and with probably much ado just loosen that, here we go, and peel it off. Just carefully, because it is slightly caught over that join. And then I'm not going to keep that seam in the middle, because if I do, when I come to fold it the opposite way here, the chances are it would open up at the side. So I'm going to offset it just a little bit. That would do, and just join it together. Make sure I give it a good squeeze. You can actually use your paper folder just to give that an extra varnish to make sure that it stays nice and stuck. There we go. And then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to fold it the opposite direction this way. So as you can see, it turns into a kind of triangle. So you're just folding your edges together the opposite way. Now I'm not going to glue the top together. I'm actually going to bring in my crocodile and punch a couple of holes and then put some baker's twine in the top, and then that makes it easier for little ones to get in and out of it and probably for me to tie them back together again. So because we no longer have our 1/8 of an inch punch, I'm going to use the 1/8 of an inch side on my crocodile, and I'm just going to bring it in about maybe 3/4 of an inch, something like that, and just punch there, and the same at the other side. About, make sure I line it up a bit better first. Again, about 3/4 of an inch in from the edge. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And punch a hole. Get rid of the crocodile. And then what I used for my anchor and my octopus, which is a favourite of mine, I used the Sea of Textures stamp set. I'm absolutely in love with this octopus. Last year when I bought it in the catalogue last year, I used that quite a lot, and again we do some fundraising for the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboat Institute, and I made quite a few notebooks with an octopus on the front, and I'm probably going to make some more again this year. So I used Sea of Textures, and to cut them out I used the Under the Sea Framelits dies. So this is the one that I used here, but you've got the mesh that goes with this, and well, it doesn't go with that. It'll punch out. It'll cut out. Oh, Karen, it'll cut out netting so that you can use it on your project. And you've got all the little fish here, some sea plants, and other little bits just for decoration. So without stuttering about that set anymore, I'll bring in my Sailing Home stamp set, which I have shown in a previous video, and again I just love this because we're a sailing family. I just adore this set, and I got this, if you've watched a video that I mentioned it in before, I got this free on stage in April, our corporate event, and I've used the anchor from that, and again I've used the sailing dies to cut that out as well. They're called the smooth sailing dies, and I punched them in Night of Navy, whoops, onto very vanilla cardstock. So I've already stamped and punched out my octopus for this project. I did already do them on white card, but I actually didn't like it. It was a bit too stark against the project, and it didn't go so well with the baker's twine, which is very vanilla and Night of Navy, so I changed it. And I'm just going to bring in my baker's twine that goes with the Come Sail Away suite, and I think I'll cut off quite a long bit because I'm going to, or am I going to, no, I'm just going to tie this in a double knot rather than faffing about trying to tie it in a bow. So I'm just going to fold this in half. Obviously I'll have put my pirate goodies inside it, but I can do that later, especially because it's not glued shut, it's only tied closed. So I'll pop this through and hopefully catch it. There we go. And then the same again back through to front. If I can get it through, come on. And grab a hold. I don't want to fray it too much. There we are. And I'm just using it double thickness just to give it a good closure. And I think I'll just tie that in it really should be, because it's a sailing thing, and because, oh, I was going to try and do a reef knot, but it's just going to take its chances because it's too fiddly to try and hold it together and concentrate on tying a knot as well. Let's see if we can manage it after a fashion. I'm not sure if we will, but we'll see. So that's as close as you're going to get to a reef knot. It isn't a perfect one, and it's not actually a reef knot, but it's close enough. And if I can get a hold of them, I'm all fingers and thumbs today, I'm just going to cut the ends off of here. There we are. I'll leave them hanging down a little bit. I'll maybe trim this side just a little. There we are. And I'm going to put some dimensionals onto the back of my octopus. Now, where are those? Here we are. I might use up some of the, oops, I've got a bit of a sticky problem here. It's just the heat here just now, it's making everything stick together. So I'm going to pop a dimensional on his head, or her, and I'm going to pop one about here, one here, just to make sure they stick. And I might, I've got some scraps of dimensionals somewhere, which I now can't find. Here we are. And just for this little bit here, because I want to keep the dimensionals kind of central, I'm going to just grab this little bit here. The good thing about dimensionals is you get these little extra bits, so that helps to add some height to my project as well. And that's it. I'm not going to put any more on, I'm just going to take the backings off and stick them on, or stick him or her on, not them. Alright, and I'm just going to come along, make sure that it's on the part where the baker's twine is, and just stick them on there, and that's my pouch made. I think that's a perfect size for popping some goodies in, and that'll certainly hold my notebook and my pencil. Obviously not sweeties, because not every child is able to have sweeties, and it's not a wise move to assume that everybody's able to eat the sweeties that you've put in. So practical presents are much better. That's it for now. I'll pop a link to the blog post that goes with this in the description bar below, and I'll put what measurements I've used on my blog post as well. But again, as long as it's square, and it doesn't even have to be square, you can really pretty much do what you like. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.